Thank you very much. I'm now calling Michael Russell to close for the Scottish Government. Michael Russell.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. As Jamie Green has just said, motions of no confidence are mercifully very rare parliamentary occasions. They shouldn't be the occasion for random smears, political posturing and paying off old scores, which regrettably has been the norm this afternoon. But instead they should be a careful and clinical examination by means of a very tightly drawn but very clear set of objectives about a central issue: if and when a minister deserves to lose the confidence of his parliamentary colleagues and be removed from office. Now, Presiding Officer, I made exactly the same point 20 years ago when I moved the very first motion of no confidence in this chamber. You were there, and I apologise to those people who were there who are going to hear the same arguments again. Because to arrive at those tests, we need to look at parliamentary experience elsewhere. And although the parties here are not willing to think about what's happening at Westminster today, I am. And despite belief that doing the honourable thing is a long tradition, in fact, there were no such ministerial resignations at all at Westminster between 1917 and 1954. And it was then that the famous Critchell Down case established for the modern age, if the members listen, they will learn something. Some of the circumstances in which a minister should take the ultimate responsibility and either resign or be removed. And in December 2000, in the very first debate, I suggested 3 tests that needed to be applied. First, did the minister fail to act at key times? And I called that the Carrington test, because it was the reason Lord Carrington resigned as Foreign Secretary at the start of the Falklands campaign in 1982. Secondly, was the policy which the minister was pursuing flawed because of the minister? And I called this wait and get the answers, don't guess the results. I called this the Howard test, after the former Tory leader, Michael Howard, who failed to resign despite a debacle over prison escapes. And thirdly, was the minister culpable, but was he or she already out of the way and liable not to cause any more harm? Think of that as the Mandelson test. I'm sure Labour remembers that their Minister Mandelson resigned twice in 8 months. And today we could add a 4th test. When a minister discovers that there's a serious problem, does he or she act swiftly to resolve that problem, taking full responsibility as a minister should, ensuring that at the earliest opportunity they apologise and institute the necessary action? I'm calling that the Swinney test, because he did just that. John Swinney doesn't fail the Carrington test because he acted as soon as he could. He doesn't fail the Howard test because the methodology the SQA used in the way it was agreed was not effective. No. And he does, no indeed, nor does he fail the Mandelson test. He's there and working. And he does not fail his own test, the Swinney test. He did the thing I would always have expected from a man of integrity. He took responsibility and then he took action to make a difference to those affected. So on any objective measurement, applying any objective tests, he has no case to answer. We could, however, apply some other tests, particularly to those who have been baying for his blood this afternoon. We could try the Lamont Grey test. Is the proposer of the motion blinded by bitterness at their own political failures? Yes. Oh, well, sorry, 2 ex-Labour leaders. There's a lot of them about. The Davidson test, the Green test, is the political ambition so great they don't care about the damage they are doing to either the system or the individuals? Or the Rennie test is the position adopted just in an attempt to get noticed. Anyone who votes for this motion tonight is failing those tests. Presiding Officer, John Swinney has shown himself to be much, much bigger than his accusers. The pupils and the families affected, the really important people, have already shown their appreciation of what he has done. And I hope this chamber is listening to them and not to his discreditable and discredited accusers today. And in doing so, this chamber should apply one final test. I'll call it the Glover test, after the Church of Scotland minister in Perthshire who tweeted it on Tuesday night. And these are his words: "I want John Swinney to stay. Otherwise, it's a culture where if you lie and deny, you can stay. But if you admit and address, you must go. I would ask this chamber to rise above the noise and unpleasantness of this afternoon. Let's do what I think Scotland wants and apply the Glover test. Let's not accept that Scotland's a country that prefers lying and denying to admitting and addressing. Let's aspire to something better than bitterness and bile. This week, John Swinney, for the sake of 75,000 young people, admitted and addressed. That is precisely what we should want from our leaders. And that is what this leader did. And that is what this Parliament should ringingly endorse today.